myself again.
Good morning and welcome to NUFC Matters. I bet you there's some sore heads out there today. I didn't have a drink, but thanks to everybody who came along to the NUFC Matters delayed Christmas party. Cracking night, great atmosphere. Great talking with Gibbo and Super Mac. Junior Turner with a fantastic rendition of his song where everybody joined in, hands in the air and singing the chorus was fantastic. Great to see so many of the NUFC Matters crew there last night, people from all corners of the globe who were all going to Newcastle, Brentford today as well. And just good to see the viewers. Great to finally meet Julie. I think that was the highlight of my night. Julie's obviously somebody who's followed the show from the very start. And you don't know what these people look like. I've met Dave Harrison a few times at the food bank. Great to meet Jeff. Danny, just trying to think of the people who just came up and actually introduced themselves who I can remember, but just met so many of you. And thank you for your kind words. Thanks for the support. And thanks for coming along and supporting the food bank as well last night. Final total I will announce properly on Monday, but I do know we've raised collectively, and when I say collectively, I mean people watching the show and people presenting the show and being involved. I think we've collectively raised something in the region of about £8,000 for the food bank in 2021. If you add that to what we raised last year, we must be heading towards about £16,000 in 2 years for the food bank, which is quite phenomenal when you think it's something that me and Neil started off on Instagram, me and him rabbiting on about Newcastle United, which turned into this. So thanks so much. Great to see so many people wearing the food bank t-shirts, some of them which are horrendous. By the way, in real life, they look bad enough as a JPEG, never mind in real life. Great to see so many people actually wearing their t-shirts with pride last night. And just great, you know, a lot of memberships taken up as well, the £25 memberships that John started off. But it was just great party atmosphere. And I know that Stu, Mitch and Al Walid were there in spirit. And I'm sure when those guys are back over, we'll certainly get a little get together as well. Looking forward hopefully to seeing you guys soon. But morning, lads. And isn't it just typical Newcastle United? Everything's looking great. 2 weeks great preparation. New gaffer. Pretty sure War Flags' thing is going to be something like War Flags display is going to be Eddie Howe's Black and White Army. I'll be surprised if it's not. And then what happened, Stu? Standing at the Irish Centre last night, text message comes through, Eddie Howe's got COVID. You couldn't script it.
Nah, it's just the typical Newcastle. I sent the same message to Mitch last night. It's the most Newcastle thing ever. And that's saying something with how Newcastle are. You know, but he's done all the training, hasn't he? He's done the team talks and everything else. And as I understand, he's got a big monitor placed in the dressing room. And he'll be giving the team talk before the game and during half-time as well. So although he's not there in person, he'll still be there. And that shouldn't really affect the players now, because I think they're all in a position where they know they need to impress. And hopefully the fitness will tell, and the fancy having tactics as well. It's going to be quite exciting to watch. I just wish I was there today. I really do.
Tactics, not tic-tacs, Mitch, as we've had in the last couple of years, but it's great. Oh, is he frozen? Oh, he's now disappeared. That was like something out of Blake 7, but you're back. Yeah, tic-tacs, not tactics, Mitch. Great to see, you know, the players getting put through some pretty good sessions by the looks of it. Training at the pitch as well, which I think is always great, a great idea. But yeah, I mean, just typical Newcastle, isn't it? Anyhow, now going to miss the next couple of games.
Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, but at the same time, it sounds like
Mitch, we'll come back to you. We're losing you, mate. We're losing you, mate. Your internet's not the greatest. We'll come back to you. We'll go to Al Walid and see whether you can sort that out. Al Walid, yeah. Eddie Howe, what was your feelings when you heard last night that there was a COVID infection and he got it?
Actually, I was in the show yesterday last night with the Argentinian Magpie Tune Army, and during the show, with the comments, someone from Saudi Arabia said, "Walid, did you hear about Eddie Howe?" I was scared, so I asked him live, "What happened?" And I just looked for my other phone, and it was Eddie Howe COVID. I hope he will get well soon. And yesterday, when I was translating some of his videos of the conference room, I noticed he looked exhausted, but I thought it's exhausted. He looked tired.
He looked shattered.
Yeah,
I picked up on that.
Yeah, but I thought it's just maybe didn't sleep well, maybe tired, maybe thinking. It's happened. And sometimes I have this, but I didn't think it was a corona. Hope he will get well soon. At least maybe there is I'm trying to get the positive thing from anything. This shocking news, I think, will add more focus for the team. He will become more focused now, and I believe the message or the training for last 10 days. I think the player got it now, and during the conference room, he said, "I asked the players for, I don't want to load them with information and tactics, just basics." And I think the idea of the style of play already been with the players, and I think Jason and Graham Jones will do great as well. And as I said, I think this is player will play extra focus now because without the coach, and hopefully he will get well soon.
Stu, who do you think he's going to put in charge? And that isn't the big question today. I think I've got a better one than that. But yeah, who's he going to put in charge on the touchline? I mean, Eddie Howe's had the experience of doing it over the last couple of games prior to Eddie Howe's announcement. But obviously, Jason Tindall, is that likely, do you think?
Well, I think he'll have himself in charge, and he'll just be using them to pass on his instructions. Because what I'm getting is what I've heard this week is that Jason Tindall is his right hand man. He's the Terry Mack to Keegan, and he's really, really embedded himself in with the players. And he's taking time to get to know them, get to know the friend, the family, and stuff like that, and show that they're human and they're not just there to do a job, they're there to do it together. And it's the easiest way to do it. It's like we're all in the same boat here, and if you try to motivate someone, you need to know what makes them tick, but most importantly what goes against them. And I think this is why we've had the praise heaped on Shelby and Joe Litton to a lesser respect this week. These people need to be told they're great, but also there's 9 games left until they can actually do anything. So they're going to have to make do with what they've got. So to answer your question, I think he'll contact Tindall, and I believe that Graham Jones will probably, because he knows the players better, I think he'll be the one relaying the messages from the sidelines. But yeah, either or.
Mitch, that sounds about right, doesn't it? I would imagine that would be the way it'll go.
Does sound spot on, really. I know he's talking about FaceTiming all the players individually before the game as well. So he's got many ways, thanks to technology, to get his message across. And to be honest with you, the message on the day is really just reinforcing on what they've been working on all week. So it shouldn't affect me too much, I would hope. In fact, if anything, for me, it may give an interesting way to galvanise everybody at the start of his reign. And in a strange way, it might work very well for whereas something that going forward we can be all galvanised by the fact that the squad rallied around the manager when he was taken ill in his first couple of weeks in charge. So I think he's going to have a system, and the system, as long as it's clear and there's no mixed messages on the touchlines, shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah, I'll believe it's not ideal, but that sounds as if that's what will happen, doesn't it? He's got the big screen in the dressing room. His message will be put across. He's been with the players for the last 2 weeks, so there shouldn't be any messages getting misunderstood or whatever, and they'll be relayed by the coach and staff who are there.
If the COVID thing, it's while he's arriving, but now after 10 days, I think they reach some kind of understanding between the team of the coach. But if I am Eddie Howe, I will put Jason in charge. I think because he's the assistant actually for his team. But as Stuart Binman says, he will be in charge, Eddie Howe, because even behind with the phone and TV. But I'm in charge in the field. I think it will be Jason. This is I believe this is what can happen.
Geordie Tune for Life agrees. He says Jason Tindall will be in charge. Remember, he was manager of Bournemouth when Howe left. Lots of sympathy. Dave says really bad news about Eddie. Hope he gets well soon. Kamal says, hello from the Bahrain. It was me from the Argentina show last night. I was thinking typical NUFC. Stu, great weather for an outdoor viewing of the match.
Yeah, I think he's the one.
It's not good.
He's the one. He's the one who will break the Eddie Howe news. I remember from yesterday.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the supporters. It's something I brought up on the Amigos last night, and I did on Supermarket and Gibbo on Thursday as well. That the crowd will take the roof off St James's for 90 minutes, says Colin. Stu, it's not something that happens, and I know you're not at the game with you being living out there, but it's just systematic, really, with football in general. First 10 minutes, everyone's up for it. You have your kick off, and everyone's over the moon about the war flags display. You have about 10 minutes of singing, and if the game doesn't get off to a busy start or an exciting start, Newcastle don't go 1-0 up, the crowd fall quiet, and that really, that's when if it gets worse, and this is what it's been like under Bruce. You have a couple of groans and moans, and people are getting worse, and people are going off for a half-time pint at bloody 3:15, and we don't have this crowd taking the roof off. It used to be, a cauldron of noise. People used to hate coming to St James's Park. You listen to people like, Gary Neville or Roy Keane talking about it, and it was worth a gold start. It's not like that anymore. And Colin's saying he hopes that that's what we do, but it doesn't happen a great deal, does it?
No, it doesn't. But I'd like to think today's the start of it. The Charlie's gone, Bruce is gone, Ashley's gone. And, for want of a better phrase, we've got what we wanted. But again, you don't want to follow the same symmetry as what happened at the Tottenham game, where, you had the display, then the atmosphere was fantastic. We go a goal up, and then it stops. So the fans do have a big part to play in this, but so do the players. And I think the fans will respond to what they see on the pitch, and if the effort's put in, then the fans will keep going. And I think today will be a special atmosphere. I was just there laughing before to myself, thinking, it'd be great if you could have Eddie Howe doing his team talk from the scoreboard in the corner, from the big screen, just so you can see it. But the commitment is there it needs everyone in the same boat to row together to get where we want to faster. And we know the chairman's there today. We know Amanda Mirdad's there today. We know Jamie Rubin's there today. And I've just got a message there to say that Mr. Elamano is coming in today as well. He'll be at the ground. They've got a seat reserved for him at the ground. So it looks like he'll be speaking with the chairman as well. So they're all in together. They know what they're buying. We know that they're after profit, long-term profit. It's a business. And I really think that they're leading by example. They're doing as much as they can in the short space of time they've had. We as fans need to be doing as much as we can as well, especially those inside the ground, those lucky enough to be inside the ground. I'll be there myself over Christmas, so I'll get 2 games in then. But I just really, really am so envious of your lucky ones who have managed to get tickets today. And I think today should be the start of trying to not bring back the old days, but create new days in a new atmosphere. And there's nothing to moan about now. It's the same players, but if, like I said earlier, if the effort's there, then the crowd should respond accordingly. And then again, that means the players should respond back. And as long as we show a bit of unity, then it's going to be a huge step forward starting from today.
Yeah, definitely. Mitch, the atmosphere does make a difference. It can give you a goal start, can't it, really?
It can. I've been in St James's Park when teams have just been absolutely almost terrified to come and play. And that's what we do need to get something back to. I think the lads from Flags are doing a fantastic job at starting the fire.
Yeah.
But it's up to every single individual in that ground after that point to keep fanning the flames and to keep that fire going. And we've not got to get downhearted or disappointed. We've got to try and just show the positives. With everything that's happened in the last few weeks, Ashley's gone, Bruce is gone, Charlie's gone. We've got quite a lot to shout about. And today's our opportunity. Today's our opportunity. We actually have got something to shout about. It feels like we've got our club back. It feels like we're something to be proud of again. This could be a springboard into the unknown for us. And it starts today. It starts today, and you've got everybody in that ground I want you to go home hoarse. I want you to go home unable to speak at the end of 90 minutes. And that would do for me.
Yeah, I believe it's a big thing, atmosphere at St James's Park. You know, you've experienced it now. It's you know, when it's loud, and it can be quite quite off-putting for the visiting players. You know, it's important to support your team, isn't it?
Exactly. And for me, I used to play football, and it's important for the cheering you hear affect your performance. And there is a moment sometimes, and when I went to a Chelsea game, it was my first game for Newcastle and St James Park. There was a quiet moment. The fans are quiet. Some moments, and in these some moments, I usually try to initiate something. I remember in the first half, I was Jamal Lascelles was about in front of me, and I think he was hearing me, so I was supporting the whole first half Jamal Lascelles, and I believe this is one of the reasons we didn't concede the goal, because I just tried to keep him focused. When Kai Havertz next to him, I said, Jamal, careful, Jamal. And I suffer for a week for my sound. But in the second half, unfortunately, Jamal another area and received the 3 goal. But this is important to cheer, especially in the, not about the beginning or some of the songs. This is okay, but some moments it's important. When the quietness, you should try and give it a go. And with the Brighton game, I couldn't resist. I told him the story. I shout once. I shout for Saint Maximin. I said, "Come on, Santi!" And actually, he after this shout, it was quiet. So after this shout, I believe he heard me, and the next 2 minutes he got excited, I believe, and he did a great one attack. It was a great attack by him. I know he didn't play very well, but I remember, I can't say that after I shout and he hear me, because I shout close to him. I was in the director box, so when I shout, it was a weird moment. But I believe he did well after this shout. So I encourage the fans to shout even in the quietness or the quietness time.
Yeah,
this is affect the player very much.
Of course it does, 100%. Craig, I'm not sure. I've just looked up. There's your website, Gateshead FC.com. Just find out ideas on there about how you get tickets for that game. Well done to Gateshead, by the way, into the second round. Great try, Charlton at home. And if they get through, could get Newcastle. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Gateshead versus Newcastle at St James's Park. There must be a decent chance that a player or two could have COVID. If Howe does, well, we'll wait and see how things develop with that. Okay, as always, we have a regular segment on the show. We don't have many regular segments on the other show, but I just thought it would be nice to have one on here. So here it goes. So today's big question is, would you, Stu, start Martin Dubravka today?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't need to expand. That definitely would.
Does come with a part 2. Will Eddie Howe start Martin Dubravka today? In your opinion?
No, in my opinion. I'd like to say yes. But the chances might be, because he hasn't had much time to work with him, he'll stick with as he is until he's got time to work. But even now with the COVID, etc., that might not happen. So Darlow will start, I would guess. But if it was my choice, I would have Dubravka straight in. The players, the defence are more comfortable with him there as well. But again, we all know that Eddie Howe is done lots and lots of research, so if he does put him straight in, he knows exactly what he's getting, and I'm sure he would have spoke to the players as well, especially the cells, and got their feedback. So I'd love to be able to say yes for me, yes for Eddie Howe. I can't speak on his behalf, so who knows? I'll say start with Darlow just for today.
Mitch, what's your take then? Would you start him, and do you think Eddie Howe would?
I think anybody who's heard me bang on amigos in particular about my position on the goalkeeper situation, if we have a number 1 keeper and he is fit, he goes straight in the team. And it doesn't matter who else is around, and it doesn't matter how well they've played. if you've got a number one keeper, he's your number one keeper and he plays if he's fit. That's simple for me. Will Eddie Howe? My only doubt is that he is quoted as saying he was probably going to concentrate on the players who hadn't been away on international duty because he'd had more time with them. And that's the doubt as to whether Eddie Howe will go with them. But if Stu says he's a well-researched manager, it's not like he hasn't got a clue what he's getting if he puts Dubravka straight in. I certainly would. Like Stu, I have a nagging doubt that I don't think he will. I think he'll stick with Darlow, just based on his quotes from last week.
Okay. Awaleed, what's your take on that question?
My take is for me, I will answer yes, but the important thing is who's going to play in the defense line, because if there is much changing, it must be Dubravka, because Dubravka is good in communicate with the players in the defense line. So this is important. So especially the center back, is it going to be Lascelles? Is it going to be Crafter? So but I would do Dubravka, and for Eddie Howe, I think when he said it's a tough call, but I think he already decided with Dubravka. He just say this doesn't want to say it in the conference.
Gary Milliken, come on, son. I support Newcastle, not Gateshead. I might live in Gateshead. I don't support Gateshead. But okay, that's the answer to the big question today. There'll be another one of those next week. Lineups going to be important today, and of course, 2 o'clock when that comes out. There's either going to be a lot of happy people, or there's going to be a lot of people being a bit grumpy. I mean, apart from the goalkeeping situation, Stu, what else are you hoping to see today in that lineup? I'll give you my thoughts. I'm looking forward to seeing players who are supposed to play in certain positions being in those positions. I don't think it takes a genius to work out what he should do. I'd like to see Willock back in the team, and I'd like to see Lewis back in the team, in his correct position. I don't think he's going to go too overboard, but I just think a couple of changes. So I'd like to see Dubravka, Willock, and Lewis back in that lineup today. That would be my 3 choices.
Yeah, well, definitely Dubravka, as we just discussed. I'd agree with that. Lewis, I'm not sure, because I think Richie's done a good standing, but you're right what you're saying. It's the square pegs and round holes. So Lewis had a decent game for Northern Ireland against the European champions Italy during the week. So he's got some fitness inside him there. I think we'll have to accept that Fraser will be starting. It sounds like that's, but he'll play him where he should play him, on the wing. So I can see a change of formation where you're going to have maybe ASM, like I discussed it last week, a 4-2-3-1 scenario rather than a 4-4-2. And if it is a 4-4-2, we'll have ASM floating. So you might play Richie further forward in front of Lewis. And have him on the other side. So sorry to work. have him have Lewis on one side. Sorry, get it right. Richie on one side and Fraser on the other. Now, to me, the biggest issue we're going to have is in the centre midfield. We need legs, because if you watch how Brentford play the football, they do knock the ball about quick and create spaces and find spaces quickly. And so you need as much mobility as possible inside there. Will he start Shelby? Probably. So I could see Shelby and Hayden being the middle two from the midfield, and then we're just going back to, do we play Murphy? Do we play Manquillo at right back? And then the 2 centre halves. I think it'll be Lascelles plus one other. And if Shaw's been away, it could be Fernandez is brought back in, or he may just stick with Kieran Clark. So I would say it'd be a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-2-3-1. That's how I think he'll play it.
Okay, Mitch, what's your take on that?
I think I'd like to see we'll move away from the 5 at the back, because that has been put in to expose other weaknesses, rather than to cover up for other weaknesses. And it seems to be almost like a comfort blanket that they've got used to. And I think if we're going to play with more energy, I think that then accommodates a change in formation. I personally would like to see Lewis back at left back. I've watched the full game back pretty much Northern Ireland against Italy, and I thought he was fantastic against Kizere. And I think that's a heck of a accolade, really, for a young man who seems to have just disappeared off the face of the earth as far as Newcastle United is concerned. We need to find a way to work Willock back in. He's been bigging up Joe Linton as well. And is he the final manager who maybe is able to work out in a land of square pegs and round holes where he's a dodecahedron and what to do with them, you know? I think, personally, we'll probably not see too many changes, though. Just because, again, I come back to his words about concentrating on the players he's had longest with, and that might take Lewis out of that equation because he's been in national team. Either way, I'm just happy to roll with what's put out in front of her, and I want to see positive change, positive attitude, and the whole thing about the atmosphere. It's a two-way street. We need a little bit of something off the team as well. Now, whether that's a big tackle off someone or a great chance or a mazy run with a decent cross, something to get the team up in the first 10 minutes, and then let's see how we bounce off each other from there. And I think playing with a different attitude and a higher tempo is a great start for that.
Yeah. Al-Walid, it's going to be an interesting team sheet at 2:00. What are you hoping to see? What are you expecting to see? What changes would you make?
First of all, Eddie Howe, unfortunately, he must change a lot today. He need to earn the trust of the players. I don't think after 3 years waiting Steve Bruce, he will do like 5 at the backs and put Richie on the left back. And I don't think this would be correct choice. He must do a change. I wish to say, we could say, you can say it 4-5-1, a turn to 4-4-2 with the play, with attacking. I can say Dubravka on goal, Jamal Lewis left back, Jacob Murphy in the right back, because we don't have any right back. Maybe he will put maybe Krafta, maybe, if he went more defensive choice in the right back. I don't know. But for center half, Jamal Lascelles and Shar. I think Shar is ready. Maybe Fernandez. It's up to them who's fit more. But I think Shar is ready and Jamal Lascelles. Unfortunately, because we didn't want to make much changes. We didn't want much changes in the defense, especially. Lucky we have. I should say, lucky that we have Hayden and Shelby there ready, so they will cover the mistakes of the new or recent play of the defense line. So in front of them, I would say Willock and Saint Maximin on the right, Fraser on the left as a winger, and for substitution, Almiron and Joe Linton, maybe we can use them up on the game events.
Okay, good stuff. Shout out to our sponsors, Spider VPN. Great to see Nathan and Gareth and the lads there last night, and I hope they have a good holiday. Big shout out to them though. Google Spider VPN. They come up at the top of the search list for all your internet protection. They are the boys to trust. Skipsandbins.com. Thanks to Scott as well and the lads down there. Telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website www.skipsandbins.com. Easy contract free and pay as you go waste collection. Thanks to L&G Family Funeral Directors as well. 0191 389 7245 and at qtechshop.co.uk. Makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wolves and Newcastle. And of course, the guy who runs our website, John, NUFCmatters.com. A lot of you will have met him last night. Thanks to John at Jab Signature as well, jabsignature.co.uk. And if you are a first-time visitor to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the Newcastle Legends logo in the bottom right-hand corner. And that's it. You can subscribe for free. We still do 7 shows a week. Hit the thumb up to like the video. Click share to share to your other social media. And drop into the comments box to speak to like-minded Newcastle fans or to pose a question. We're also available on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast providers. Usually goes up 24 hours after the show. You can listen to that in your car, your phone, or whatever you use to listen to your podcasts on. No more Christmas party until next year, but we do have an evening with Peter Beardsley next Friday. Tickets for that are £15. and they are available from newcastlelegends.com. Click shop. Tickets are priced at £15. And I know there's a few of you who were there last night that come into that already. I hope the rest of you can make it along. We've also got an evening with Peter Beardsley on the 30th of January at the Tyne Theatre, and that is selling quite well. Tickets for that are available on Groupon and on Voucher, so get yourself on there, maybe buy somebody a Christmas gift. Thursday the 9th of December this year, though, sees myself and Supermac doing our final event for the food bank this year, and that will be at Bobix, which is the old punch bowl in Jesmond, and you can buy tickets for that from bobix.com. Don't forget, virtual matchday bucket is operational. If you want to make a donation to the food bank, then go to NUFC fansfoodbank.co.uk. You can also buy your tickets for the raffle for the Peter Beardsley custom-made trainers made by I Am The Renovation. These will be signed by Peter Beardsley and they are custom made. So get yourself into the raffle as well. You have got to be in it to win it. And don't forget, copies of my book, Every Boy's Dream, is available at the back page and on Amazon. Again, could be a nice Christmas gift for somebody. I will be at the Dog and Parrot with a lot of the NUFC Matters crew. It has to be said, a few of them are going to get themselves out of bed now and come down to see us down at the Dog and Parrot today. 1 o'clock, I'll be there with Malcolm pre-match. 6 to 6:30, I'll be there after the game at the Dog and Parrot with Malcolm. So get yourself down, come and see us. It's free entry. It's always a good atmosphere. And don't forget, the Eddie Howe t-shirt is our latest bestseller, NUFCmatters.com. Get yourself an Eddie Howe t-shirt to show your support for the new gaffer. And become a member of NUFC Matters. You get your scarf, your pen, your membership card, your cup, and a nice little bag. I think John took another 20 odd of those last night, and well worth joining up because you enter into the prize draw each month. And next month's prize draw is for 2 tickets to watch Newcastle take on Manchester United. So well worth being a member just for that. Be in it to win it. Chris asks a question which I think we could probably all predict the answer to this one. What do you think the reaction will be if it doesn't go our way today? Well, on social media, it'll be a complete overreaction and knee-jerk reaction where people will be saying, how out, the new owner's out. But in the real world where we all live, we'll all be saying, no, well, you know, it's going to take time. Stu?
Hi. Yeah, I thought, right, didn't know who you were. By the way, that wasn't a delivery, that was a client ringing from Kuwait. Just before just to dispel any rumours.
Well, you were getting asked earlier by somebody, well, can we expect an alcohol delivery like last week?
No, I did that yesterday, so I thought proper planning and preparation, but then this guy from Kuwait wanted to negotiate on the price of an apartment, and I just said I'll have to ring senior management and I'll call you back, so I left it at that. So, how dare you interrupt an NUFC Matters broadcaster? Yeah, me.
Well, you're getting paid.
If things don't go our way, is that the first time? I think the people who watched Newcastle long enough will understand when do things ever go our way on a consistent basis. We've had loads of positives recently, and things are going our way. And the only positive that we've got that we didn't want was Eddie Howe's COVID test, wasn't it? So if we draw today or if we get beat today, I keep saying the same thing. As long as the effort's there, the application's there, and the desire's there, then we'll have something to build on. And you know, the old adage, I think Mitch said it earlier, Rome isn't built in a day. But I really do expect us to win today. But Brentford are now in the enviable position of having nothing to lose. You know, even though the bookmakers still make them slight favourites, I think but I can see them freezing with the crowd today. You know, there won't be many of their players that would have played in front of such a raucous atmosphere if we get it right. So if things go bad, then that just means we've got one less game to try and turn things around. But I'd rather look on the positive side and expect us to win today.
Yeah, it's ultimately, Mitch, that's the thing, isn't it? Social media gives a knee-jerk reaction, and some people put stuff out there and then wish they hadn't. But that is the problem. Newcastle get beat today. There will be an overreaction on social media.
Of course there will, and in some ways, to a point, understandable. But I think we just have to take, as Stu says, if what we're seeing on the pitch is the right effort, the right application, and we're seeing things moving forward, You got to remember, we've been told for 2 years by Steve Bruce that things were progressing and we were moving forward. When we could see with our eyes, at best we were standing still, if not going backwards. Don't insult our football intelligence.
Yeah.
But if we can see positive things to hang on to at the end of the day, if it doesn't go our way, that's okay. I've said before, the new owners, the new manager will have a relatively extended honeymoon period compared to some. And so I think we've just got to try and cling on to those positives going forward. Speaking of Brentford, have you heard from Gareth at all, Stu, by the way?
I sent a message saying I'm not going to speak to him till tomorrow, just in case.
That's why Dubai Brentford fan, by the way.
Oh, right, okay.
He hasn't been in Dubai. He told us he hasn't been in Dubai. He's been working late, but when I'm back over for New Year, he's definitely coming out.
I watched the playoff final with him, and all he could say by the end of the evening as Chelsea kicked off in the Champions League final was, "We're in the Premier League." And that was all you could get out of him for about 4 hours.
Brilliant. Al-Walid, what's your take? I mean, social media is, you laugh your way through it a lot of the time. It's just weird, isn't it? But, really, this is a long-term project, isn't it? It's one defeat isn't going to upset everything. It's, we've just got to focus on getting things right over a period of time.
Yeah, I think this is, we're going to be relaxed if we get the 3 point, and I get lucky last game with Brighton. It was 1-0, and I looked to Amanda and I tell her, "Don't worry, it's going to be 1-1," and she smiled, and it's happened 1-1. So it was a really great moment, because today I see, actually I can't see except win. I can't see we are winning today, maybe 2-0, but I can't see we win. We're going to win. No matter if Eddie Howe have COVID or not, he's not the one who will play. It's going to be win, inshallah, hopefully.
Here's a question for you. Basically, just saying, do you think that the stars of the Saudi League can be stars in the English Premier League? And he's named a couple, but as people know, my pronunciation of some of these players,
yes,
it's not worth even trying. So I'll leave you to read them on the screen.
Okay, I think Abdullah, he told me that before, and he already chose these players, I think, or 2 of them. Abdulaziz Al-Dawsari, for me, if the same player, I know I don't know, I don't think so. If there is another Abdulaziz Al-Dawsari, maybe, but I think Abdulaziz Al-Dawsari, he's very old now. I'm not sure. But Khalid Al-Ghannam, he's a great right back. Sami Al-Naj'i, he also a great midfielder. Last 2, I think they are able to play any team. They are a great player. But first one, I don't know. I don't think so, because if the one I know is very old, but I don't think there is someone. I think one player, I believe, in my opinion, is able to play in any team of the world. His name is Salim Al-Dawsari, number 10 Saudi Arabia, number 29 in Al-Hilal. But maybe not this year, maybe the year after.
Okay, there we go. Hope that answers the question. Go on, Mitch.
The skill levels over here, which are interesting. There was a player here in the UAE, Omar Abdulrahman, who everybody said a lot about, and he was very, very skillful. And I think he had a trial at Man City at one point. And I would have quite liked him in a black and white shirt, to be fair, because he's one of those players that we like. And I think the biggest challenge for anybody coming from any of the leagues over here, the Saudi League, Gulf League, is physicality. Is how do they cope with the physicality of that? And because I've watched quite a bit of football locally over here, at both sort of first and second division of the Gulf League, and seen some interesting things and some interesting players. The players we would know. Yuan Kubai finished his career off out here, for example. And they should really be doing more to sort of encourage expats to come along to games. I don't know what it's like in Saudi, but here in the UAE, I was viewed as the strange white man that wanted to come and watch football sometimes. It was quite sort of unusual to see somebody not local going to a local team. Of course, we've now got another connection, haven't we? Because has Clarkey been confirmed as manager at Al Ittihad?
Yes.
This weekend, so there's an interesting move. Probably Clark in with one of the Saudi teams, and a smart move on their part, if anything else, because not only are they getting somebody who has shown he can manage in the region, his time in Sudan was quite interesting, but also, are they going to try and pull on the Newcastle connection there? And good luck to Clark and good luck to Ali.
Sorry, Dr. Neil, is it Al Ittihad from Oman or from Saudi Arabia?
I think from Saudi.
Might be from Oman.
I think it was
Is it?
Oman, but I'm not really sure.
Or is it Oman? Right, okay. I thought it was Al Ittihad Saudi. Right, okay.
The only reason there's no, because I seen Steve Watson this week and he said that Clarkey was away out to Oman, and I hadn't spoken to Clarkey for about 6 or 7 days. And I haven't seen him since Steve Howie's birthday. But yeah, I think it could be Oman, but I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong. But yeah, I think you're right.
If he's in Oman, he'll come across Budgie out there. That'll be quite amusing.
Yeah, chucking oranges at him, diving on the bed and all that. Geordie Toombalay says we won't get beat, we won't go down either. Brentford were below Norwich last season, so it's no surprise they beat Brentford, and look how bad they are. Tom Dixon, one of our regulars, says who would he play up front, Wilson with Joe Linton or Wilson with Dwight Gale? Thoughts, lads? Good question. Stu?
Wilson with neither of them would be my
by
answer
himself?
to that. Yeah, I'd have him by himself, or as I touched on before, with ASM floating around him or Miggy floating around him. Depends what formation they go for. What I'd like to see more than anything is them moving 20, 30 yards further up the pitch and have a bit more belief in themselves and confidence in their own ability. And that way they've got numbers when they're attacking, instead of just the usual tactics as it has been, is giving ASM hope he skins 6 people and then complain when he gets tackled or he's got no one to pass to. You know, so if they're moving a bit further forward, they just need a bit more athleticism. And I believe by the training that they've been doing over the last few weeks, they should be a lot fitter. Either that, they might be too tired to even run today, but I wouldn't play Joe Linton and I wouldn't play Dwight Gale. Not starting anyway.
Yeah, Mitch, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would personally prefer to get the best out of St. Maximin. I think you just got to let him roam free and to accommodate that. You play him up front with Wilson and just let him do his thing, and then have the rest of the team in a more rigid and orthodox formation. Because I think that's the way you get the best out of St. Maximin. I think he's one of these players like Ginola. You've got to accept that there are certain things that at times you want to do or can't do, and therefore to release that freedom of spirit, you've got to have regimented people in the team around him to allow him just to do his thing, and I would stick with that personally.
Yeah, okay. Shelby's a question as well. Do you think Shelby will start? Sounds like Howe's backing him. Yeah, I think he will. Won't he, Mitch?
Yeah, I think so. As we discussed last night at the Migos, you know, if you've got to get him out of that quarterback mindset that where he drops in between the centre backs and he's playing deeper than any of the defenders. If you imagine him playing some of those balls 20, 30 yards further up the pitch, some of those balls will be killers. They'll be absolute killers. And I don't know how you work on that mindset with him, whether that just evolved out of the back 5 arrangement and he's desperate to get control of the ball and have the ball, or whether that was a deliberate ploy. Either way, some of those talents are wasted playing those balls further down the pitch because they don't then end up in creating chances, opportunities, and danger. I'd rather see him pinging balls into dangerous areas. And okay, it mightn't work out every now and again, but then when it doesn't work out, he's not doing that 30 yards further back and losing possession and then suddenly we're on the defensive and short-handed. Because if you look at how many goals we've conceded, which has started from Shelby trying to do something clever in front of the centre-backs, and then the ball's been intercepted and we're on the back foot again. So you take all of that away by moving him 20, 30 yards further up the pitch. And I think you get more out of him then.
Al-Walid, lots to discuss there. I mean, Shelby is obviously being given the backing of the manager. Sounds like he will start. Sounds like he's impressed, Eddie Howe.
I think he want to get that, you know, he want to do a clear page with everyone, all of the players. He want to give them opportunity. And when he said, please don't ask me or something, he said, last thing I want to talk about is the transfer window. I think he just want to encourage the people or the players. Same thing with the owners when they came and talked to Steve Bruce. They give him the trust, and they didn't want to start everything. They just want to support and give the player opportunity to give last chance. Give us what you have. But I think this is it's up to Shelby now. It's up to him. But in these 9 or 10 games, this is last chance for all of them. If they didn't give the 100% and really prove themselves, I think they will be replaced.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Lots of questions coming in about the team, which is good. It shows people are interested in football again. Blue Moon Boy says, who will start at right back or right wing back? Manquillo or Murphy? Maybe Fraser as an outside shout. Brian Fraser has been getting a bit of publicity, Stu. He's even smiling on photographs again.
Yeah, I think I believe Ryan Fraser will play, but I suspect he'll play further forward. If we played a 4-4-2, and I would have Manquillo as right back in front of Murphy because he's a square peg for a square hole, and he's a right back and he knows how to do the job well, and he can cover and go forward. So with Fraser, he's smiling because maybe he believes he's the teacher's pet again, because he was given a little bit of, not criticism, but a bit of dressing room banter, as it's called, isn't it? When he was at Bournemouth, he was the favourite of Eddie Howe there. So I would expect him to start today, but I wouldn't expect him to play right wing back. He's more effective when he's whipping crosses in, or dragging players out for people to run the channels. And as Mitch said many times, square pegs around holes. We don't need that anymore. Let's get people doing what they're good at. And if the squad talent is limited, let's maximise the best we can. Because the last thing we want is the apathy setting in the crowd again. It's very easy to criticise the players or whatever, but supporting this team isn't easy. It's been difficult. But now the hard yards, we've done the hard yards over the last 14 years, and as a new era begins now. So if Shelby does play and he misplaces a pass, it's natural, we'll groan. But then, you can't stop that. But what you can stop is the probably unjust criticism that comes after it, and then the arguments start in the crowd and stuff like that,
Yeah.
So we're on trial as well as fans. We like to portray ourselves as the best fans in the league or the world or whatever. And when we go away from home, we tend to show that, that we are a passionate fan base. We just need more people at the home game to do the same and cut out the negativity if possible and when possible.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. Lots of questions coming in about the players and the starting lineups. I guess we'll find out at 2 o'clock. I've got to finish the show slightly earlier today because there's going to be some kind of protest on the A1, and tractors are going to be going along at 5 miles an hour, and I don't want to get caught up in that. So I'm going to come to predictions, guys. So Stu, I'll stay with you. What is your prediction for today's game? Is it 3-1?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely 3-1 today.
I thought it might be. I shouldn't have even asked you. Mitch, what about you?
Well, I'm going to stick with what my new predictor dice rolled last night on the Amigos, and I'll stick with 2-1.
He's gone with 2-1. I went with 2-0 to Newcastle. Al-Walid, what about you?
I'm confused between 2-1 or 2-0, but I might get say 2-0.
You're going for 2-0
Newcastle,
as well.
of course.
Okay, great stuff. As always, good to have the views from the Middle East. And I'll be back again next week. I'm back with Holly tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, and it'll be the Fans Forum at 7 o'clock on Monday. Have a good weekend. Let's hope the football doesn't spoil it. And let's hope Eddie Howe gets the result that he needs in his first day in charge as manager. Take care, lads. Bye.
Enjoy the game, mate.
Cheers, everyone.
Good luck. How are the lads?